Hello, everyone. Hello, hello. Hi. Welcome to the Art of Warframe panel. We've got about 55 minutes here to show you some of the incredible stuff the team has been working on. We've got some sneak peeks, some never-before-seen concepts, and some really big reveals. And it's jam-packed, so I'm going to stop yapping and let these guys introduce themselves. Say hello, Kary. Hello, what do you do here?
I'm the art director on Warframe. Hi, everybody.
Hi, Kary. Yeah. Marco.
I'm Marco, Associate Art Director on Warframe, yes.
Yeah, Marco. Give it up for Marco. All right, Kaz. Hello.
Hello. I am Kaz. I am the lead weapons artist on Warframe.
Yeah, Kaz. Woo, 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 woo. And the lovely Greg. Hello, Greg.
Hi, guys. My name is Greg, and I'm the character lead on Warframe. And I tried to upstage Kaz wearing these sunglasses, but I just can't pull it off.
Where's your leather jacket? You're missing the leather jacket. All right, and my name is Danielle Sokolowski. I'm your host for today. I'm also Warframe Senior Community Manager. Thank you for coming and watching. And hello, everyone watching from home. Hello. All right, so Ember Heirloom collections launched this morning, very exciting. Ember Prime is also available right now through Prime Resurgence. But you know who else is available right now? Rhino Prime. So wouldn't it be cool if Rhino got an heirloom? Oh. Yeah, our boy Rhino is going to be next up to be receiving the heirloom treatment. And now this is a pretty special one for us, isn't it, Kary?
Yeah, this one's great. I mean, for us to be able to lead the panel with something from Minky feels absolutely great because, of course, he's the foundation of so much of what we've done on the art side right from the very beginning. So, wicked piece right there, as you'd expect.
Absolutely. We love you, Minky. Thank you for this. So you can expect this in 2025. We'll also be showing more of Rhino Heirloom in future dev streams, so you'll want to tune in for that. Now, if that wasn't spicy enough, as is, why don't we take a look at the next Prime Access? Yeah. We're starting off hot here, guys. The Epitaph Prime. Uh-oh, okay. All right. Now, Kaz, this is a pretty interesting layout for a Prime weapon. Why would that be for the Epitaph Prime?
Yeah, so the Epitaph Prime is actually a really complicated weapon if you've ever used it. It's got a lot of moving parts on it, lots of like little arms that move around and articulate. It's got like a little scope thing on the top, and it shoots those huge square projectiles that kind of come back, like they just disintegrate from space and then come back again. So it's really useful for concept art to be laid out like a blueprint like this, so we can see every single part clearly, and then we can just model it. It's great.
Yeah. And Liger was the original concept artist for the Epitaph, the base Epitaph as well.
Yep.
Yeah, which is great. Hi, Liger. Is Liger watching? I hope Liger's watching from home. Hello. Also, I apologize to the panelists because I've made this really difficult for you guys to talk about the Epitaph Prime without spoiling what's coming up next, although maybe some of you in the crowd already know what's coming. Maybe. Let's take a look at it fully construct. Yeah, hey, there you go. Kaz, this is your work. What was it like turning the concept into this gorgeous specimen we see here?
Well, it's always a treat being able to work from a concept that is that detailed, and and then you always end up embellishing a whole lot on top of that because you can't always draw every single little detail into everything. So I got to be able to kind of add some flourishes and just put my own little touches onto it in addition to Liger's amazing art.
The Kaz special. All right, so I know, Kaz, you mentioned that the Epitaph, as we know, is already a pretty complex weapon in terms of movement and what you see in its animation. So why don't we actually take a look at what this weapon looks like in action? We've got a video here. Yeah. Ooh, we love that. Yeah, charge shot. That's a good one. It's also got a custom VFX as well, and I know we kind of had to do a bit of upgrading to the animations as well to fit how the epitaph functions a little bit. So shout out Tim Sorman.
Yep.
I think he apologized to you guys for saying like, sorry, we made the epitaph so complicated. I'll fix it. Don't worry. But here we are. Looking fabulous.
The original one, the little arms on the side actually stretch a whole bunch for these animations. So to clean it up for the Prime, I decided that we should probably do like ball joints or something.
Right.
But Tim went further with it and decided to streamline it even more once he got to the animation phase. So just all together, it just ended up being a very bespoke experience with this one.
Yeah, looking really badass too. All right, so what else do we have in this totally not obvious based off of what you've seen already upcoming Prime Access? How about a new Prime Sentinel? Ooh. More specifically, the Nautilus Prime, yes, our trusted Railjack Sentinel, wink, wink. And as you probably would guess with this little guy, the Nautilus Prime rather, will be coming with its signature weapon, the Vergless Prime. And also, some Prime Sentinel accessories. Kaz, we did a little number here with these. Anything interesting about the accessories that we see them up here?
Yeah, so this is a pretty complicated Sentinel with some pretty complicated looking accessories as well. We put a bunch of flourishes on with the effects on this one to maybe match something else a little better.
Also, just so that you guys can understand what you're seeing here, we've got the wings, the tail, and we've also got the mask. And it is being modeled on the Nautilus Prime, but it will be equipable on any and all of your Sentinels. All right. So we've got the Epitaph Prime, Nautilus Prime, the Prime Sentinel accessories. Got some pretty good clues here. Any guesses on who might be the featured Warframe in this Prime Access? Oh my God. No hesitation. Yeah, you got it. That was record speed. Also, probably some cosmic Twitch messages coming through pretty rapid fire. All right, yes. Our captain of the Tempest Starry, Sevagoth Prime, is our next Prime Access. So, Greg, what were some of the inspirations, themes, maybe even, epochs, time periods that inspired Sevagoth Prime?
Yeah, I think Sevagoth, obviously, there's a lot of allusions to kind of a naval and a sea-bearing sort of theme. So for this one, Liger's concept was directed towards more like 18th century. You see the tricorn hat motifs, maybe a little powdered wig, a little braid, the tassels on kind of a parade naval uniform. And so, obviously knocked it out of the park. Sevagoth is a very complex character,
Yes.
In normal form. And I think the Prime only cascades the complexity even higher. So,
100%.
yeah.
And now another Liger original here. Liger, also the original concept artist of Sevagoth. Now, Kary, what's it like for an artist to come back to their previous work and get a chance to make something Prime out of it?
Well, it is a bit of a different thing for us because, often an artist does a piece and then it goes out. But with live surface, things sort of come back to you. So I guess, for other industries, you'd be doing your sequels and stuff like that,
right,
if you're lucky enough to. And in our case, you get to come back to something like this and suddenly you're doing a powdered wig and Warframe. So.
Yeah, super special for a concept artist. I know we've got kind of like a don't talk to me or my son or my grandson situation happening in the concept. For those of you who are familiar with Sevagoth, you'll recognize the little dude, or maybe not, on the end there. We'll get back to him in a bit. But of course, an essential to Sevagoth's characteristic is his shadow. Yeah. And this is crazy. The Exalted Shadow. Yeah, Kaz has got the...
I'm a fan.
got the claws on lock there. This is obviously very, very cool. What was the direction of the shadow in comparison to Sevagoth? Was there some kind of like additional resources or references that were used?
Yeah, you can tell in the concept, excuse me, some of the quilted tufted leathers and fabrics, obviously some, deep sea creatures, some fins, and, the shawl. Well, it's kind of almost like a shawl on top of the Sevagoth Prime, so it really kind of exaggerates the profile and makes
Right.
it much more regal, and blending both the creature and almost like a parade uniform, and so really bringing up the feeling of kind of a regal, royal, and parade uniform. So.
Oh, we love that. On the left there, we also see kind of like a rough sketched outline of what I believe is base shadow. So how does the team create such extravagant designs that can still fit on the base mesh that is already need to consider, this is a playable character. It has abilities, it has its own set of abilities. You still need to be able to see, nothing needs to obfuscate player's view. So how do you guys go in achieving that and getting something like this?
Something like this is probably something you do after you've been doing it for a long time. Right. That does help. But the premise is still like if you were sculpting with clay, you'd have like the wire armature at the bottom, and that's how your arms and your shoulders and everything move. And that's still the major points. But then beyond that, it can get more and more complicated as time. And I think, Greg, you've had to do these things for years and years. So, is there 3 top tips for that?
There's really no secret. I think there's a lot of trial and error. And, we use a software like Basecamp that tracks the entire progress of a task. And we were just talking about it earlier.
We were.
Backstage. And, kind of when you review a particular asset and the steps it goes through back and forth, sometimes it's a little bit of just hard work and a lot of perseverance, and we can kind of get it there, and really comes together in the last 25%.
Yeah, and come together it did, because this is a crazy. We're gonna maybe get a little bit of a closer look at it later, but why don't we get into an accessory coming with Sevagoth Prime Access, which is our first Prime Signa to ever come in a Prime Access. And I also believe this is the first Signa style where we kind of divert away from the Halo stylings that we've been doing thus far. So why did we want to take a new direction with it with Sevagoth?
Oh, because we were trying to take some stylings from the character himself, and we thought it would be just cool if you could put this plume on any character. Because why not? It's cool.
Yeah. Everyone can essentially become a cool, really regal pirate, I guess, at the end of the day. We've also got, we're going to transition into some in-game shots here. We've got, of course, the model here. And I think, as you had mentioned, that there was some pretty interesting things going on with that like golden sheen that we also see on there.
Yeah, so we noticed this on the character. The character artist was doing something really interesting. Usually with emissive, that tail is emissive, by the way, we just put black as a background so that the emissive color comes out more boldly, but the character artist actually put just the gold underneath it and let it shine through a little bit, so you get this beautiful, like, ephemeral look of just this gold gleam over everything.
It's honestly stunning. I was running around with it in the dev build the other day, and the feathers bounce around with you, and you get that beautiful sheen coming through. So good job, guys. Good job, team. All right.
It's character team.
Character team. Shout out. All right. Do you guys want to see Sevagoth Prime? Yeah. All right. There's our boy. Yeah. Beautiful, beautiful boy. All right, Antonio is a wizard, because taking this from concept to what you're seeing here is absolutely. Also, you can now actually see the back of him, which was something that you guys didn't see in the concept, so you can see even more of that extravagant kind of design coming through there. As you mentioned, Greg, Sevagoth's base model is fairly complex as is, so how did you guys make it possible to kind of push the limits of how Sevagoth could look?
Yeah, I think each prime is its own unique challenge. We obviously want to preserve some of the original for pretty pragmatic TennoCon reasons, right? So some people want to mix and match their outfit.
Shout out TennoCon.
Prime parts. But in the case of Sevagoth Prime, the rework was quite extensive. There's a significant amount of the vanilla body underneath, so you'd be able to swap stuff. But in order to kind of serve the design and it's not such a significant departure in terms of the themes, but I think this prime in particular is very, very special. Again, Sevagoth, the original Sevagoth, is a complex one.
Yes.
And this one just kind of ups the notch a little bit. So yeah, it's again, I think with my previous answer, there's no real secret sauce. It's just kind of judging what we can keep and what we can rework. And Sevagoth Prime is an example where we put a lot of effort into really jazzing him up significantly.
Yeah, and he's stunning. Now, remember how I mentioned the little guy in the concept? Well, if you are a Sevagoth player, you know about his passive when you're down. So he's got a really crazy tombstone. I don't feel like it's correct to call this a tombstone. It's too nice. And Sevagoth is going to have to open up his own personal museum of himself with all the tombstones he's racking up at this point. But we got kind of like a little bit of like a Grecian styling here. Were there any other kind of like references used? It does look like a museum piece.
Yeah, I think Antonio kind of took parts of the original mesh, and then you can see in the concept we wrapped this cloth around it. It's, it's not really a tombstone at this point. It's almost like a shrine or a pedestal.
Right.
It's like vanity times 1,000, I think. But I think Sevagoth deserves it. So
100%.
It looks amazing.
It really does. And now, while Sevagoth is living lavish in his tombstone, Shadow Prime is going to be hard at work trying to bring him back. Yeah. Those claws are crazy. Are they bigger than the base Sevagoth, or are they just cooler?
Well, it is hard to have anything look worse when it's in gold. So,
Great point, Kary. Great point. Also, Shadow would probably make a really good Lunaro player. He's basically got arcadas for arms at this point. All right. So, also the tail. The tail is really fun. The tail does kind of swish around a little bit when you're moving around. It's really fun. All right. We are going to, so we've seen every single piece of Sevagoth Prime in Sevagoth Prime Access. Now, why don't we get a 360 look at Sevagoth Prime and his Exalted Prime Shadow. There he is. We'll give him a spin. All right. So, to recap, we have Sevagoth Prime, his Exalted Shadow Prime, the Epitaph Prime, the Prime Signa, Nautilus Prime Sentinel, the Sentinel Prime accessories, and those are all coming in our next Prime Access. All right, we're going to let him complete his spin there, but it wouldn't be an art panel without, what's that? The Tempestari Prime? Did I just hear you want a Tempestari Prime? I guess a Prime Captain does need a Prime ship. Kary. I don't know. That's a big ordeal.
Well, it's an idea.
It's an idea. It's an idea. All right, I'll keep that in the back of our minds. It wouldn't be an art panel without showing you guys the next Deluxe skin, right? All right, we're gonna introduce you now to Caliban Deluxe. Let's see our boy. Yeah. Yes. What an upgrade. Oh, my God. Okay, so there are some very cool themes here. What were the main source materials for Caliban Deluxe?
Yeah, I think the original Caliban is sort of a character out of Shakespearean play. And kind of portrayed as a half-human, half-creature. So those are the themes we were exploring at the very beginning when we were concepting this. So something was settled on, that kind of the duality, and that is what Caliban, the original Caliban, is as well in Warframe. So here it's sort of a medieval armored soldier, and maybe a bit of like a sea creature from the deep, from the swamp. Kind of blending those two elements together.
Right. And now, Kary, how does the team go about choosing Deluxe skin themes for Warframes while still kind of honoring and maintaining the core visual elements of the Warframe, and obviously more specifically Caliban Deluxe here?
That is definitely a group effort. Like Rebecca's very involved with that step as well, and there's lots of people who identify with each Warframe quite well, so that it's well advocated for, and you work your way through ideas and thumbnailing stage, and there's lots of ways to step yourself towards that, which is what we need to do.
Right.
Pretty sure you'd want to make a point on one of the other themes for it.
Oh yeah, well, you try to settle down on a main theme, and over what Greg mentioned early on, we decided to more of a Death Knight kind of vibe on this one. Still trying to keep some characteristics from Caliban itself. So you have the middle section still open. We went a bit more overboard with the VFX there. And well, all his accessories are going to be also inheriting some of this.
Marco, you're spoiling things for people. So yes, a core element of Caliban's kit, as you may know, and kind of lends to his sentient nature, is of course his lethal progeny Conculist, which, as you can see here, have also been deluxified. If we come back over to these, yeah, so from their heads to their toes to their baton, they don't have toes, to their baton arms, they got a completely new look. And you guys really went the extra mile with this Deluxe, because I think originally the Conculus maybe weren't going to get Deluxified, and then some, you guys are like, nah, we got to make it, we got to pull it all the way through. So how did you go about creating such a complementary companion to Caliban Deluxe?
Well, you still try to keep some of the characteristics from the original character. In this case, the armored look. We still have some of the cloth in the back. Of course, you have to still go over with the rig of the original asset, which in this case was the Conculist. But we gave them baton arms or back scratchers.
Yeah, back scratchers. All right, so obviously we need a equally deadly weapon skin to complete the look. So this brings us to this insanely cool Scythe Deluxe skin. Kaz, tell us a little bit more about this.
Yeah, so on the character, there's a lot of like fleshy areas and stuff. We kind of want to change those areas into something that's not flesh, because you don't have a weapon that's made of like your arm or something. That'd be weird. So we kind of leaned more into the hard materials and stuff with this one, but we still wanted to retain some of that ephemeral kind of, or ethereal kind of look to it. So we've got the top section is actually floating on the effects there. And this folds up just like the original, the Venado.
Yeah.
But it is a scythe skin for all of the scythes.
So styled after the Venado, but skin for all.
Yes.
All right, so a deluxe collection obviously wouldn't be complete without some kind of cosmetic accessory as well. So why don't we transfer the haunting aura of Caliban Deluxe into an ephemera? Yeah. What?
Well, you follow the same theme of this summoning that night, and in this case, maybe the souls he is picking from right there available to him.
Oh, we love it. Look at those guys go. Oh my goodness. All right, so that's not all for Caliban, Tenno. You'll want to tune into Tenno Live to learn more about Caliban's future. Ooh. All right, so since we see Caliban hanging out in Albrecht's laboratories, living his best life, we're going to switch it up here, and we're going to have a look at some of the foundational concepts that brought us the labs and the man-on-the-wall environments from the Whispers in the Wall update. So we're going to start with this one here. Marco, this one's really cool. What are we looking at here?
These were very early steps into the Man-in-the-Wall project. In this case, we knew we were going to tie them to the Entrati labs. So we took what we had at the time, which was the Demos hall, and try to represent the Man-in-the-Wall. In this case, start ideating what would it look like, in this case, literally overlapping to our reality and breaking the walls and coming through the walls.
Ooh. Yeah, opening up that door into something like this.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Gradually, you try and picture what's on the other side. And in this case, you have this weird kind of labyrinth skybox on top, some of this floating weird architecture.
Right.
Initially, we went very generic, like floating piece and bits. And gradually, we tried to integrate some more architectural pieces from the brutalism architecture.
Ooh, yeah, actually, we see that in We're starting to kind of see that in here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and also the, poor Excalibur.
Those are very huge. But
It is, yeah, it kind of gives you an idea of what you guys were going for in terms of scale, like really making this tile set feel impactful and kind of dreadful at the same time, right? Like bigger than you, bigger than anything.
Well, we haven't really meant to imply that the man in the wall would be like a happy person or anything, so.
Very fair. Glad you brought that up, Kary, because we can't talk about these environments without actually talking about the man in the wall himself. Yeah, this is crazy. I know there could have been like a million different ways you guys could have gone in integrating what we know the man in the wall as now. So how did you guys settle on those particular elements pulled from our boy Wally?
Well, I mean, at the beginning, we were looking at a lot of body horror aspects and stuff right down close, and you do have to be honest, like, what is achievable? If you have to do like a character sculpt for everything, that's not going to get done now. So we simplified in the foreground, but there's a lot of those elements in the skybox and similar, and you can see how we sort of made progress on that over time.
Right. We're seeing a bit more of kind of like that brutalism that you guys were talking about. A lot of stairs and ramps that don't really go anywhere, maybe foreshadowing our prospects here, but we also see that a little bit more in here as well.
a lot of overhead and floating pieces as well.
Yeah.
In the environments.
Yeah, and I guess that also would have lended over to the Murmur faction too, right? Okay.
Very much found it being a cross-pollination.
Right, awesome. All right, so I believe, do I have one more here? Oh, we do. This is kind of getting to more what we're familiar with now as you roam around the man-in-the-wall tile set. So we also added something here too, I believe.
Gradually you try to add elements to the original theme. In this case, we started implementing like sand floors and sand flowing up, weirdly enough.
Why does it flow up, Marco?
Well, we know it's a void dimension. It doesn't really have a specific time flow as we normally will look at.
Eternalism. All right, so from concept to execution, there are obviously many stages to how a level actually gets built. So let's take a look at the part of the fragmented arena where we went from, gray boxes here to what you kind of know it as now. And we're going to see a bit more of that sand going the wrong way. But man, lighting and volumetric fog makes a huge difference.
It really does help. Yeah, we can't say enough. Like, thank you, graphics programmers. You're great.
Yeah, thank you for that, because it really brings a certain kind of moodiness and liveliness to these tile sets while you're hacking and slashing away there. And
props to the environment team. And
it's a team sport all the way down. But
which there you go. You can see their lovely names of the wonderful people who worked on that particular tile. So yes, please applaud them. Please, they deserve it. They deserve their flowers. Absolutely. Oh, that gave me chills. All right, so we've seen how the man-in-the-wall sausage is made. It's time for us to explore Albrecht's laboratory, since these two areas are very highly intertwined, of course. What were the early days of mapping out Albrecht's laboratories like?
Well, we were working from some of the prior work with Deimos, so you'll see a lot of the same bones, but of course this has far more flourish, and there was what would a mad Victorian scientist in a sci-fi world wielding void energy do?
A lot of things, apparently, and a lot of really neat machinery to accomplish those tasks. Some arcana and whatnot. Time seems to be a very important theme here.
Yeah, if you need to time your eggs or go back in time, you've got your machine right there.
Thanks, Albrecht. All right. Also, obviously, before we get to that, we have this, of course, the streaming connector. So what bridges the gap between the Sanctum and Atomica and you actually entering Albrecht's laboratories. And this is a crazy area. You're only in there for so many seconds, but it's just, there's a lot happening, and I really want to know how you guys go about concepting something that's going to obviously have so much movement and impact.
I think that one actually, Rebecca may have mentioned some of the early type of like gyroscope and clock connections and stuff like that. Then you kind of rough it in the space, and then you do a few versions to give yourself motion sickness. And then once you get past that, you start to get into sort of the same ornate family that you see in a lot of other pieces.
Right. Yeah, like iatans, a lot of those highly moving parts that we've seen already in Warframe. All right. Now, once you actually get into the labs, you get to see a bit more of that opulence, that classic Intradi stylings. And not only that, but we also, of course, get very familiar with the vessels in these areas. And this is a very early concept of the vessels. So how was that process like?
Well, initially it didn't start as vessels. We were thinking about Albrecht potentially taking elements from the man-in-the-wall dimensions or parts of it and bringing it back to the labs and kind of running experiments or research in general. So yeah, you will have different body parts looking things happening in the labs.
Yeah.
And that's actually what sparked the idea to make a whole person or a whole figure about it, and which became the vessel later on.
Right. We put all the pieces together, the heart, the brain. I know there's a brain floating around there in the tiles. And yeah, we get to see a little bit more of that kind of exploration here as well.
Yeah, and I think help to that idea was the fact that we were doing a hub around it. So we had to fill a very big space.
That was a very iconic moment where you're coming down out of the staircase, you go through the doors, and then he's kind of leaning, and it was the thing that kind of checkmark for the scene. That it all worked, so yeah. Thank you, Alberto.
Thank you, Alberto. Yeah, those really impactful moments. And here is kind of like where we're seeing ultimately where we landed with the vessels, a bit more familiar to what we know it as now. And then I do believe we also have a very cool progress video of Albrecht's laboratories with a tile that prominently features the vessels. Yes. It's amazing to see. And this is only 40 seconds of a video, but this is like potentially months of work put in from the team.
At this step, you know, a lot of like the Lego pieces, so to speak, so like your walls and things like that are pretty well established. So parts of it click in pretty quick, but yeah, the work to get to the point where these things can go quickly it's a huge pile. So
absolutely. And again, that lighting coming in, the volumetric fog, just making it so moody. Yeah, and there's the sand again. It's back. All right. Yep. Again, another applause for our wonderful team. And we can't talk about Whispers on the Wall without talking about 1999, right?
I love this piece. I just want to say that.
No, it's one of the, and it's also one of the cooler, well, there's lots of cool moments in that quest, but this is a pretty fun moment of the quest. You know, you're wandering around the labs, you hear that like subway chime, you hear the voiceover come on, and then the next thing you know, it's ripping right in front of you. And it kind of leads us into the really, really cool moment with Arthur. And is this the Arthur concept? Is this where you guys kind of envisioned that going in the quest?
This would be illustrating some of the early ideas for the quest, yeah. You know, we hadn't completely settled on Arthur at this point, as you can kind of tell by the head. But, you know, other than that, yeah, this is trying to capture those moments, which I think, you know, folks will remember from the quest fairly clearly. Yeah,
absolutely. And then, yeah, we can see a little bit here of that building out the subway itself. And I imagine you guys had quite a myriad of references to pull from 1999. And was there anything in particular that kind of helped build this subway area up that we're briefly in for a little bit, but...
Well, I mean, like, some of us were old enough to experience it pretty well, so...
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. All right, and...
We're so glad everybody was able to get here because it sounded like a bit of a bad couple of days, so yeah.
It looks like history is repeating itself, and maybe Mike has a magic, I don't know, some kind of look into the future.
Yeah, we didn't have a crystal ball, but, you know, we were thinking about it.
Yeah, things haven't changed much since 1999, but...
A strange relic of the past.
Oh, wow. We also see, someone's kind of poking their head out there in the window. We also obviously can't talk about this moment in the quest without bringing in our boy Arthur. Yes, we love Arthur. We love Arthur. And also, more specifically, his weapons, which you guys have been asking us to give you. And luckily, if you're watching this panel and the rest of the panels, you are actually earning the AX52 that you see in his hand right now via Twitch drops. And if you guys are in here right now, don't worry, we're sending you an email with the code. So let's have a look at some of the exploratory concepts that went into the AX52. Now, Kaz, as I understand it, this was a pretty interesting exercise for the team on, going through a more kind of traditional weaponry.
Yeah. So everyone on the team has different likes and dislikes and things that they're comfortable with making and things that they really want to make. People like doing infested, people like doing the corpus stuff or the Tenno stuff. There are some people who really just wanted to make some real life weapons, and this is about as close as we're going to get in Warframe. And we had two very enthusiastic people working on this, people who are big fans of the original real-life counterpart of this weapon, obviously, the AK-47. So it was really cool to see their enthusiasm come through on both the concept and the modeling of this weapon.
Yeah, we can see that we're getting this final concept piece that brought us to, of course, the weapon itself. This is very cool. And again, AX52, this is yours, guys. It's a full-blown weapon that you'll be able to use. Now, we can't forget about Arthur's melee weapon either. Yes, and this will be a sword skin that you can equip on your swords. Now, the cloth around the ricasso of the sword, I'm not sure. I'm not a swordologist. I don't know what that is. But is it fashion or is it function?
Maybe a little both.
Okay.
You got to wipe your sword off sometimes.
Arthur's a stylish dude.
Conveniently red colored, you never know what you're going to be wiping off. Maybe it's just ketchup or something, right?
Well,
spreading some jam on your toast in the morning,
Yeah, Arthur's got to feed himself before he goes out and hacks and slashes all those bad dudes out there. But were there other kind of embellishments that we explored other than the cloth for the sword?
Yeah, at some point we were thinking about putting maybe a Tamagotchi or something on it.
The idea of Arthur having a little Tamagotchi buddy is incredible. I think we need to maybe make that happen at some point. But yes, you will be able to equip this protocol sword skin on all of your swords in the 1999 update. We've also got more 1999 weaponry, and here's something you guys haven't seen yet. Yeah, it's a good one. All right. We've got a camcorder situation going on in there. It's Kaz, what's going on with this here weapon?
Yeah, it's got a little 90s style little flip out screen. It's 90s.
Yeah. And again, this was probably a cool way for you guys to explore a bit more on what we can do, on the tech side of things, how do we want to implement more of that 90s tech into even our weaponry?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so all of the textures that we're exploring here are going to be shared across all the weapons and stuff, and we've got these weird tubes going on there. I wonder what those are for.
Oh, can we tell them, or is that not yet? Oh, I see Greg shaking his head. Spoilers. Okay, no, we're not going to get into it.
Anything.
Here we can see it actually. Yeah. Now I really want to know what's in the tubes.
I'll keep looking.
Oh, all right. We'll have to just wait and see. And it does bear a similar theme to some other things you may see later on. All right. So we got a bit of an interim here. We're going to look at a little bit more of the 1999 content to come, but before, let's take a moment to announce that there will be a limited time opportunity for players to submit their 1999 themed Drifter accessories. So if you are a TennoCon artist, or if you are a aspiring TennoCon artist, I know we actually have a TennoCon workshop. Kaz, you're going to be on that for those of you attending here. I think it's at 3? Yeah.
How many TennoCon people are out here in the crowd? There's a few.
No. I heard a clap. But if you'd like to, check out the TennoCon
I appreciate
workshop.
you.
Yeah. But if you'd like to get in some cool 1999 accessories We will have a more detailed post after Tenno Live tonight, so you want to keep your eyes out for that. What do you guys want to see our Tenno Gen artists do for 1999 content? There's so much.
Well, obviously shutter shades, all right?
Yes. Yes. Okay, see, people are agreeing. All right. We are going to change gears here.
Change gears.
Thank you, Kaz. Put that in just for you. We're going to take a look at Warframe's next vehicle, the Atomy Cycle, but since Aoi was introduced with the Atomy Cycle earlier this year, it only feels right to also introduce you to her floof. Yes, very adorable. We have Arthur, now we have Aoi. Greg, what's it been like for the team to kind of venture out in floofs?
Yeah, these are really fun. I don't want to spoil too much, but these might not be the only floofs that might be coming. But yeah, we made one for Arthur, and Aoi was a logical choice. But again, I don't want to spoil too many things here, so.
Okay, we'll keep it safe. All right, so we're going to take a closer look at the Atomy Cycle that Aoi was leaning on. We've got a really cool video to show them off. Let's see the Atomy Cycle. Yeah. Yes. Yes, DE has a lot of motorcycle enthusiasts, and actually a lot of the animators actually ride bikes, which came in handy. And I know, Kaz, you're a fan of motorcycles, and you're also maybe a really good friend of the Stug, so... Oh, I'm hearing oohs and ahs. Yes, did the skin change? Yes, there will be skins.
Got a few skins coming.
Yes, we do have a few skins coming.
These aren't all of them, by the way.
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, Kaz, keeping secrets. So yeah, tell us, Kaz, what's it been like to bring this new vehicle into Warframe with the team?
So when I got word that we needed the Atomy Cycle ready for the PAX trailer pretty quickly, I decided that I needed to become a motorcycle expert very quickly so that I could lead my artists to create the motorcycle. There's no way I was making it that fast. So I recruited 3 of my guys. It was Andrew, Fyodor, and Vladimir, and we worked together to bring this to life. And then I did the final textures on it, and then we started making skins, and that's the really fun part.
Yes, that's the fun part. And I, as I understand it, there'll also be color customizable to a certain degree.
Yep.
Yeah, and we love that. Yeah. Oh, a clap. We got. Yeah. We love fashion. We love fashion in Warframe. We love colors. All right. So with such a cool bike, you're going to need an equally cool set of keys. And I don't know if the camera is able to get like a cool shot of Kaz, but Kaz, you always come with the props, and Kaz made a real Atomy Cycle. Well, real. Atomy Cycles don't exist, but yeah, I don't know if you guys can see that, but looking fresh. Now, obviously, I think we can tell which of the keys is the Atomy Cycle key. Do the other keys do anything? Are they anything special? House keys?
There's something scratched out there on one of them. I wonder what that one says.
Okay, take your screenshots, y'all, and try and see if you can decipher that. All right. Now, we also have a video here from our animation team, and I don't believe this is the first time you guys are actually seeing some of the... Oh, man, yeah, okay, this is the first time you guys are seeing some of this. So let's see a little bit of it. See, wee, yeah. This is very... Oh, orthopedic surgeons look away. Yeah, incredible. So that's just some of the animations. Just a little.
There's a lot.
There's a lot. Yeah, shout out Jay, too, who is also rides a motorcycle as well. So there you go. All right. Now, we've got the cool fast bikes. We've got the cool keys. Where are you going to go? How about the mall? What?
What's that? Kids, we're going shopping.
Yes, actually.
Yeah. A mall.
Oh, really?
A mall in Warframe. This looks very familiar to me because this was my old stomping grounds as a mall rat myself, but this is not what I would expect to see in Warframe. So It's going to be kind of hard for us to talk about some things without spoiling anything, but can we say anything about this hallway? Or not?
It might be very familiar at some point for players.
Okay, okay. Oh, it does get more familiar.
Yes.
Yes, it does. With a little hint of something new, though. This isn't exactly the infested we're entirely familiar with. We went from something like really pristine and polished here to kind of a mess. And I'm just curious, what's going on here? What we're looking at?
Well, we know that the infested are a part of the 1999 experience. So in this case, we were trying to see how we could make them a bit more spicy for this section.
The infested get spicier than what they are right now? Oh my God, I'm terrified.
Apparently they do.
Oh my God. Kary actually let me know as well. I'm going to just read a quote here. You wanted to create anglerfish-like lures to kind of pull out any potential victims. You pulled a lot from arcade games and other electronics to kind of merge in with that infested style, appropriate era TVs and stuff like that, and referenced a lot of jungles and abandoned malls. Maybe one that we are familiar with, but we also have got to have a furniture store. Perhaps you're looking for a mattress. Hopefully not the ones you get at Cetus, because they're kind of nasty. Yeah, we've got, again, not sure how much we can really spill the beans here on, but...
No, there'd be some very upset people who will be showing up later that would kill us, yeah.
Well, let's take a look and see what else is going to be there. Oh, the mall's watering hole. We've got pizza, burgers, and a high chance of food poisoning, I'm guessing, as well. Yeah, the graphics are very fun for this. Actually, this might look familiar to you guys. Maybe tease this a little bit. Yeah. All right, so you fill up on pizza, you fill up on burgers, you take your greasy, grubby fingers over to the arcade. I can smell this carpet through the screen. It's just feet. This is cool, though, because we have a chance to make some games within a game. So any games that we can spoil anything about the games?
Well, yeah, I mean, this is some folks' childhood right there as well, so it's an interesting location for us to see, and I think you'll get a kick out of it later today.
Yes. Yes, yes. Thank you. Yeah, you will be visiting this later today. Don't be late.
I think everybody expected that.
Yeah, okay. Yes, this is true. This is true. All right. We're getting up to our final area here. What's the time looking like? All right. So now who might you meet in 1999? What characters will you come across? Maybe even in a place like this. How about a new Warframe? This is a Keith Thompson original. Keith, hello, Keith. Is Keith here?
It's an old one.
Yeah, this is an old one. What can we say about Site 09's design here?
Yeah, so this is one of the more original Keith Thompson's interpretations for Site 09. You can probably see we were going for themes of maybe like a weapons specialist, military war veteran perhaps, like an infantry, expeditionary marine. You can kind of see a bit of like an army boot, bandoliers, layers of armor, obviously Warframed up. Nothing is ever quite so generic in Warframe, but those are kind of the themes we're playing with here.
Right, and I know Keith had shared with me that the pose is pretty integral to his design, and that he couldn't really imagine another frame posing quite like this, so it's going to be a pretty interesting character, I think. And also, we see a weapon in Site 09's hand as well. Now, Kaz, is that going to be a weapon that players will be able to grab?
Yeah, so we did make a weapon based on this, but we wanted to change the belt feed there so that it was a little more interesting from the player angle, and because it's pretty flat from if you're looking at it third person and stuff. We also wanted to bring some more Veriteno things into this to give it some contrast with the rest of the 1999 world. So We added a wooden stock and some of our old, like more classic kind of nods for Warframe into this weapon.
Right. And we're not going to dig too much deeper into the weapon, but you might see it later, potentially. Now, we also kind of took another stab at it here. Yeah, we have a revised concept here by Kary. And what were some of the things that we obviously held true to the original design, but that was kind of reviewed once again for purposes of putting them in game?
Yeah, from what Kit gives us, we usually still try to get another pass to back view in this case, eventually an alt helmet, a color pass as well, material maybe. So that's the extra step to get it closer to the finish line.
Yes, the bells and whistles. You can really see the fabulous details here as well. And do you guys want to see him in game? Yeah? All right. Here's our boy, Site 09. I've noticed that the color scheme has shifted away from the revised concept. What was some of the thinking there?
Not really. Nothing special.
No thought.
Just stepping away maybe from more brownish colors into what we went to more green.
Something a bit more neutral. Yeah. Anything else we can say about potentially what players could expect from him in terms of maybe abilities or?
No.
That's
people later today.
Sorry, I'm trying to learn things, trying to get things out of you guys. All right. This is very cool, very exciting for us. This is Site 09 is going to be coming out with the 1999 update. Yes, and you might again learn more about him later. Right, we're about to wrap up here. We're about to wrap up. So we've made it to the end. We're about to close the panel off, but while we do that, we've got a 360 look at Site 09 here, so you can really get a feel for him. Yeah. Yes, yes, yes. Yeah, fabulous. There is also, I believe, hopefully, hi editorial team, if you can hear me out there, there is an article up at warframe.com that features some of the artists' work and kind of a blurb in their own words on working on some of the things that they saw here. So if you would like to learn more from the artists themselves, you can, if you go on over to that article, and shout out to our artists who wanted to share that with you guys. And yeah, yes, you can clap, yes. Thank you so much, guys, for all that you do. Warframe is very special, thanks to you guys, and thank you, Kary. Thank you, Marco.
Thank you to the whole art team. You guys and gals are amazing, and everybody involved. So thank you, and thank you, Danielle, for putting together the presentation. She does so much work to make this look smooth, because I would not be smooth. So.
They made my life easy because they get to make this cool stuff here, and I just get to show it off to you guys. So yeah. But yes, thank you, Kary. Thank you, Marco. Thank you, Kaz. Thank you, Greg. Can we hear another round of applause for our incredible panelists on stage here? Yeah. Yeah. And like Kary said, thank you to our art team. We're so lucky and proud to have you share your talents with us and with the community. And we're so excited we got to show you some really cool stuff today. And of course, thank you to the Warframe team in its entirety. And we got a minute here for any final words. Any final words you want to say to the community watching out there?
Thanks for playing our game.
Yeah, thank you. I think it's a good way to end it off. All right. Thank you guys for watching. We've got the Sounds of the System panel up next with Zach and the sound teams. You're not going to want to miss that, yeah? Enjoy the rest of TennoCon, guys. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you for watching. Have a good one, okay? Bye.